Kennel Block Blues is a sugary cupcake on an adventure out of a desolate fridge on an acid trip with a little ecstasy. Okay, Kennel Block Blues. It is an anthropomorphic comic in kind of a real setting, not really fantastical in any way other than the anthropomorphism of the dog kind of being a human. Put out in 2017 by Boom Studios. I've never read anything from that publisher before, no other comics or trade paperbacks or graphic novels or anything. This is the first one, and it is fantastic. Put out by, or created by, Ryan Ferrier, Daniel Bayliss, and Adam Metcalf. It's wonderful. Vibrant, exciting look into a dark time through the lens of an anthropomorphic dog in prison. Beautiful, 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 beautiful work. It is dark. It is introspective. It's bright visually. It's fun. And it's got some conceptual stuff going on. I don't think it's incredibly layered and heavy, but it brings some stuff up for... I think that if you, I mean, target audience, I don't really know what I would call target audience, but I think that it's definitely teens and up. There's nothing in there that's crazy mature. There's a little bit of fighting and a little bit of blood, but it's not meant to be something that is trashy in any way or for a mature reader. I just think that you would get more out of it if you've been introduced to certain concepts that have to do with mental health. And are aware of things of that nature. We've got our protagonist being this dog who very quickly, at the very beginning, ends up in the pound or prison. And very quickly we see them and their reality, their mental health begin to unravel as they are incredibly anxious being in that position and have never been in that position before and don't know what to do, and they feel trapped. And I feel like one of the things that this book does amazingly well is that the story is pretty basic, but this can just be an allegory for different types of prisons, right? Physical or mental or emotional. I think it is kind of for those who want beautiful art, which I will show you, and a compelling story but told plainly. So a lot of the art, it's just very, very purposeful. And this is one of those books that I love when the interior matches the cover art, because a lot of comics and graphic novels, they spend time enticing you with the cover art, and it's way more detailed and textured and everything, and then the interior isn't that way. But this is not that. It is just beautiful work, and again, very purposeful in coloring and design, because we've got a lot of dark scenes, muted, darker tones, but we've got these breaks in reality, when I talk about the ecstasy acid trip, a lot of that is shown through the coloring, because it's not necessarily a lot of fantastical stuff, but there's a little bit of that just kind of like emotional mental break and confusion and wondering, I guess, and exploring of the self, of where am I, and trying to figure things out. So I do love that symbolism. I love the metaphors in here. I think they're presented, again, pretty plainly, but there's enough going on that it keeps me engaged. It's very dynamic and engaging, absolutely. Despite the story being rather simple, but it is also fun. And there's some action happening as well. Some like stories of friendship, I guess, are thrown in there too, but not in a cheesy after-school special way. It's kind of a fight against the system, a fight against good and evil, a fight against the self. Again, there's some introspection happening here, which is nice to see in a book like this. Again, this beautiful artwork as well. Again, I kind of said it was for teens and up. I think that definitely just being an adult reading it, I got a lot out of it. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm reading like a teen book. I didn't feel weird about that at all. I just think that those kind of concepts have been introduced maybe in the teen range, and this definitely gets into some of that stuff with mental health and just, I think some teens could definitely appreciate the fullness of it, and some maybe won't get there and still could enjoy it for the simplicity of the story and just the beautiful artwork and the plain storytelling. Yeah, I don't know where else to go with that. I kind of just said it all. It's just this beautiful book. I would recommend anybody and everyone reading it. So is it important? I don't know if I'd call it important, but it's much more beyond entertainment. This is very high on my shelf. It is just below top shelf for me. But it's so close. Like, I don't think that it is one of the most important works that everyone needs to read. I think that if you are into comics and graphic novels, or even if you're not into them, but you could get into them based on the content and the concepts of this book, this is worth trying. Again, it was put out in 2017. It shouldn't be that hard to find. It won some awards. It is just incredibly well done. And, I mean, there's puppies and kitties and stuff in it. But it's done, and it's kind of gritty, right? But it has just beautiful art direction as well. So, very high on my shelf. It's so close to being on top shelf that it might just be on top shelf. But I don't give top shelf. I just don't hand out top shelf. But it's again, maybe for the genre, it's there. Maybe it is there for an anthropomorphic. I don't know what to call it, anthropomorphic comic that has some heavier concepts without feeling necessarily the weight of that. This has hope and positivity as well. It's not meant to just bring you down, and this is reality, and you better get used to it. It's not just a slice of life. There are some lessons we learn here. There's just some things to ponder. I think it is top shelf. Let's just throw it on the top shelf. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful book. I think you should check it out. It's pretty accessible. A great entryway into this type of comic that I guess I see more of in contemporary times in the last 5 or so years. I feel like there's more stuff that is gritty and real, but this again is just a great bridge. Beautiful book, Kennel Block Blues. Check it out.